Well, it's interesting. I sometimes characterize this as a chase film with journalists, because they were chasing a story, and they were chasing a heartbreaking story that had tremendous implications for freedom of the press, freedom of speech, all of our First Amendment rights, and a President Nixon, that was at war with the New York Times and the Washington Post and most of the media, and basically came right out and said that. In the movie, we actually used the Nixon tapes, and Nixon plays a character. That's his real voice in our story. And in that sense, it did provoke a kind of, we are chasing a story. The story takes place in like a 10, 12-day period, and it is set against a clock, a ticking clock. And that gives it a sense of propulsion, a sense of I guess, nervous energy.
It did. And also, I know you made this really quickly. You wanted to get it out there. Yeah. And it's because of the time, I assume, because we also have a time where there's a war with the press. And how different or the same do you think the two time periods are when it comes to what's at stake with the First Amendment? And because Nixon tried to stop it in court. So there's a little bit of a difference, but it's still kind of the same.
Well, there are some people who would lead us to believe that beliefs are more important than facts. And our story is really about the fact, it's about facts. And truth is really undisputed, incontrovertible fact. And this is a story about the truth versus the lie.
Now, you've worked with Meryl a little bit before AI, is that correct? Did you guys
Meryl and I, she recorded the voice of the Blue Fairy in my film AI, but that was only a half an hour with a tape recorder between us. This was an entire beautiful relationship through directing her, and really our first movie together.
Right, I was going to say, it took, is this something that you had been waiting to do? Because she's Meryl Streep, you're Steven Spielberg. It's a great teaming. Have you looked, or I guess it just it didn't line up in the past.
I didn't have the courage to cast her as Lincoln. I didn't think she should hit the beach as Saving Private Ryan as Captain Miller. I'm saying I was waiting for the right part to come along, and I've always wanted to work with Meryl Streep. And there was a kind of, I guess, just a synergy, a sort of a destiny in us coming together to tell the story of Katharine Graham and Ben Bradley. And there was nobody in my imagination that could do it other than Meryl Streep. And I couldn't imagine anybody that could play Ben Bradley better than Tom Hanks, since Tom and Ben were friends in real life.
I didn't realize that, you've worked with Tom many times. He seems to be able to just fit pretty much most of the stuff you have. I don't know if it's a coincidence. Do you think of Tom right away, or does it do you guys kind of hash it out and look at the part and say, what do you think?
Yeah, Tom and I, we've had a number of close calls on. We've made 5 movies together as director-actor, but we've had a number of other movies that we were considering doing together and didn't. And I think that, I'm really interested in Tom stretching. So he comes across as the character he's playing, not comes across as the personality that we know him to be. And so in each of the movies that we've done together, each character in each of those films is absolutely a different creature. And they're so. I mean, Ben Bradley is so different than Captain Miller, and I think that Victor Navorsky is so different than Carl Hanratty from Catch Me If You Can. I just feel that Tom is one of our greatest leading men / character actors.